Okay, let's look at the section on adding and subtracting square roots or radicals. The most important thing to remember is that the radicands must be the same. So let's review quickly. That is the radical symbol. The index is here, and as I said before, for us that's always going to be a 2. Next year you'll find that that will change and you'll learn about cube roots and fourth and fifth and nth roots, etc. And the part under the radical is called the radicand. And what's important when adding and subtracting radicals is that the radicands are the same. So the numbers under the radical, that radicand must be the same. If it helps, you may write a 1 in front so that you can see that you have 1 times root 2 plus 3 times root 2, which gives you 4 square root of 2. This would be similar to thinking about having x plus 3x. That would give you 4x. If you have, for example, the square root of 3 plus 5 times the square root of 2, you can't add those. That just remains the square root of 3 plus 5, the square root of 2. The same way that you couldn't add x squared plus 5x. They're not the same. They're not like terms, so you can't add them. So the most important thing to remember when adding and subtracting radicals or square roots is that the radicands have to be identical. In some cases, we might have something like the square root of 50 plus 2 times the square root of 98. And in some cases, we might be able to simplify those radicals and then combine them. In this case, the square root of 50 becomes 25 times 2. The square root of 98 becomes 49 times 2. I would then have the square root of 25 times the square root of 2 plus 2 times the square root of 49 times the square root of 2. 5 root 2 plus 2 times, now that's multiplication, 7 root 2. That gives me 14. So I would have 5 root 2 plus 14 root 2, which would give me 19 square root of 2. Not all radicals or square roots will have this as an option. In some cases, you'll be able to get those radicands to be the same, and in other cases, you will not. So when you can't, just stop. Don't just add them together. Okay, let's take a look at a few simple examples. So the first one, I have minus 5 times the square root of 6 minus 2 times the square root of 6, which would just be minus 7 square root of 6. The second one, minus 3 square root of 5 plus 2 square root of 5, is just going to be minus the square root of 5. Number 3, again, minus 4 root 3 plus 3 root 3 would just give me minus the square root of 3. Number 4, minus 3 root 6 minus 4 root 6 is going to give me minus 7 square root of 6. Again, these radicands are the same. That's what gives me the ability to combine those terms because they are like terms. Number 5, I have minus 4 root 10 plus 5 root 10, which simplifies to the square root of 10. Number 6, I have minus the square root of 6 minus 2 times the square root of 6, which is going to give me negative 3 square root of 6. Number 7, minus the square root of 7 minus 5 the square root of 7 gives me negative 6 times the square root of 7. Number 8, minus the square root of 10 minus 5 times the square root of 10 gives me negative 6 times the square root of 10. And in all of those cases, the radicands were the same, so it's simply a matter of combining like terms. In number 9, however, they are not the same. I have negative 3 times the square root of 24 minus 3 root 2 plus 2 root 2. So when I look at those, I recognize that I can combine the last two terms together, but I can't do anything with the first term yet. So I have minus 3 square root of 24 minus the square root of 2. The question is, can I simplify the square root of 24? Hopefully you recognize that that can be factored to 4 times 6. That becomes minus 3 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2. Square root of 4 is 2, so I have negative 3 times 2 times the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2. And this gives me negative 6 square root of 6 minus the square root of 2. That's my final answer. The radicands are different. I have the square root of 6, the square root of 2. So this is my final answer, and I'm going to stop right here. Number 10, again, I have 3 different terms, and now I have 3 different radicands. So I can't combine anything at this point. But when I look at 45, I think I can break that down. So I have negative 3 times 45 can be factored to 9 times 5. And I have minus root 5 plus 2 root 2. So now this becomes negative 3 times the square root of 9 times the square root of 5 minus the square root of 5 plus 2 root 2. Square root of 9 is 3, so I have negative 3 times 3 times the square root of 5 minus, sorry about that, minus the square root of 5 plus 2 square root of 2. So this becomes negative 9 square root of 5 minus square root of 5 plus 2 root 2. Now, I recognize that I have 2 terms that have the same radicand, so I can go ahead and combine those, giving me minus 10 square root of 5 plus 2 square root of 2. And that's my final answer for number 10. And that's the end of the section on adding and subtracting radicands. Complete all of the problems that we didn't do in the packet you should complete to prepare to take the retest. Thank you.